Want to know how to make an extra $1,000 per month? Yeah, I would. I made over $15,000 selling my clutter after a massive decluttering session. If you want to know how to make this by selling all of this, then stick around. What's up, fam? My name's Marissa and I help busy moms reclaim their time, space, money, and sanity through practical minimalism lifestyle tips. A little bit of background about us. We're a family of 4 who decluttered our entire home down to 8 suitcases so that we could move overseas, where we now live in Europe, totally debt-free. I'm going to link that video down in the description so you can check that out. But if you're interested in hearing more about how having less stuff can help you have more money and be happier as a family, then what I want you to do is I want you to go down and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell to get the notifications every time I share a new video or go live, so you can get it hot and fresh off the press. Why would people want to sell their clutter? Well, I can give you 4 good reasons why. First of all, getting rid of your clutter means that you have less stuff cluttering up your space, which means you have more time to spend doing the things that you like to do instead of cleaning or tidying all the time. And that tends to make us a lot happier when we don't have as much stuff cluttering up our space. The second reason is it helps bring in a little bit more money. So if you're going to be getting rid of your clutter anyway, why not make a little bit of money off of it? That kind of ties into reason number 3, which is it helps alleviate a little bit of that waste guilt. They feel guilty because they feel like they wasted money buying that thing. And I hate to break it to you, but the wasting was probably done when you actually bought that item that you didn't necessarily need or want in the first place. At least if you're selling it, you're recouping some of the money that you spent, and you can help alleviate a little bit of that money guilt. And reason number 4 is you are sending something on to a home, to somebody that's going to love that item. You don't know what happens to stuff once it goes to the donation center, and unfortunately people have so much clutter that donation centers are overflowing with all of the stuff, and some of the stuff does actually end up in landfills and in the garbage. So if you want to make sure that your item is moving on to a happy home, then selling online is a great way to do that. So let's dive into the meat of this, which is how to start selling your clutter and make cash. Tip number 1 is, first you gotta declutter your home. Hit the like button if you think you have a lot of clutter in your home that probably should be sold. If you're needing to get started decluttering but you're not sure where to begin, I'm going to put a link down to a 5-page decluttering checklist in the description, and that is going to help you declutter your entire home step by step, category by category, in the most efficient way. And once you start doing that, after you've decluttered, then you're ready to sell your clutter. Tip number 2 is how to decide what is actually worth selling. So I have the eBay app right here on my home screen. When I open that up, then I can go into eBay and I can use the advanced search function to search anything really and find out how much it's worth based on how much people are willing to pay for it in the sold listings. First, you're going to open your eBay app and you're going to search in for a keyword. The camera that I'm using to record this video is a Canon T3i Rebel, so I'm going to look and see what a Canon T3i Rebel is worth now. So Canon T3i Rebel, camera, and let's say just the body only. Then I run a search for that. That pulls up some listings, but what you need to know about the first listings that you see is that's not what people are willing to pay it. That's just what is currently listed. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the filter. You're going to go to the filter and you're going to toggle the button that says sold items. That's going to be completed items that have also sold, and then click done. Now you can see what people have actually paid for that exact same camera. And you can see that some have carrying cases, some don't come with anything else, some come with lenses, some don't. So you can look and see what items that are similar to yours have sold for. And you also have to take into consideration the condition. So is it pre-owned? Is it in mint condition? Does it have some scratches or the screen is broken? Take a look at that and see what things that are similar to yours are selling for. I have a great post that talks about 75 weird items that you probably never would have known are worth money. I will link that in the description below as well. I found out that my grandma's head vase that she gave me when I was a little girl that was always just sitting on my dresser was worth, well, guess. Go down in the comment section and tell me, how much do you think that my grandma's old head vase was worth? Leave me a comment below with your guess. Tip number 3 is how do you start sorting your clutter after you've decluttered and you're ready to sell it. Have bins or boxes on hand and have those bins or boxes labeled sell, donate, recycle. Then as I'm decluttering, what I'm doing is I'm taking it and I'm putting it in each box as I'm decluttering. That way, after I'm finished decluttering, I can take the boxes full of the things that I don't want to sell and immediately donate and recycle them. They're out of my space. I feel so much better about that, and then I can start focusing on selling the clutter that's actually worth money. If you have kids, I'm gonna tell you something really important right now. Have bins that you cannot see through, because if you have clear plastic bins and you have their toys inside and you're storing them in the garage and your kids go out there and see it, guess what? That's no longer clutter to sell. That's clutter that's going right back in your house. Tip number 4 is how to take the best pictures, honestly, just your smartphone. So everything that you need to do, you can do from your smartphone. When you're ready to start photographing your clutter to sell, make sure that the background that you're shooting in is very clean and as bright as possible. And you do not want your cat hair or your dirty underwear lying in the background. You would be shocked by how many listings I have seen with horrible photographs in dirty backgrounds where there's clothes lying all over. And guess what? That stuff doesn't sell because people like to see nice, bright, clean products. Take multiple pictures. Let's say you're shooting a jacket on a mannequin. You want to get it from the front. You want to get it from the side. You want to get it from the back. If it's a special fabric, you might do a close-up. Then what I would do is take the jacket off the mannequin and I would lay it on the floor so they can even see the lining of the jacket. I would take a close-up of the tag so that they can see the size, all of that. I would say each item should have at least 8 to 10 photographs to start with. Then once you have your photographs, what you're going to do is you're just going to take your phone and you're going to use this free app. It's called Snapseed, and what you do is you can take any photograph and you can edit it right there on your phone as well. So if you need to straighten it out, if you want to zoom in a little bit more, if you need to crop it, if you need to adjust the lighting, everything can be done using this app. It's called Snapseed and it's awesome. Then you export that and you're good to go. Tip number 5 for selling your clutter is to give yourself a deadline, especially if you're someone who is tempted to go raid your clutter and bring it back into your home. You should set a deadline for yourself by when you expect to sell that clutter and get it out of your home. This can also depend on how much extra storage space that you have. We had a big metal rack from Home Depot and I was storing my clutter in boxes on that shelf. If you don't have that much space, then you need to think about how much clutter you're going to be storing and do you have the space for it. For smaller items that are easier to store, you might give yourself a couple months to sell those items. But for large items like furniture, say you're selling an old bed or a dresser, maybe you need it out of the house faster, just give yourself a couple days. And if it's not selling, drop the price. Tip number 6 about selling your clutter is knowing the best websites to use to sell your clutter and which ones are going to make you the most money and which are the most practical. Facebook Marketplace is actually my preferred website for selling larger items. When you're considering the website that you want to sell your clutter on, you also need to think about shipping. Are you going to be handling the shipping? Do you want to mess with the shipping? If you use something like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, then you don't have to mess with shipping. Tip number 7 is you want your items to sell fast. You don't want them to sit around taking up space if you can avoid it. First of all, when it comes to selling items online, you cannot really charge more than someone else is charging for the same item. I could take an Old Navy maxi dress and I could list it for $3,000 on eBay, but nobody is going to pay that price. You need to look and see what that item is selling for, and you need to be in a strategic price range when you list that price. When you list in the sweet spot price range, your item is going to sell faster. The only time that you can charge more money is if you have a very well established shop, like if you have a top seller rating on eBay and you have 100% seller rating, 5 stars across the boards with dozens, hundreds, or thousands of 5-star reviews, then maybe you can charge a little bit more, but not much. Tip number 8 for selling your clutter is you need to write a mouth-watering description. Answer all of their questions before they can even ask it, and describe it in a way that makes it sound like a desirable piece. I'm going to teach you my 5 secret words. The 5 secret words are pet-free, smoke-free home. It's more appealing because they feel like they're getting a really fresh item. Tip number 9 for selling your clutter is to always be honest. And you might think that it's a good idea to lie or stretch the truth when you're listing something online, but it's a really bad idea. Then you're probably going to have to mess with a refund, and that's just a whole lot of trouble that you don't want. You want to be as honest as possible, and people are still willing to buy things. People buy broken items. People buy iPhones with broken screens all the time to have the screen replaced because they feel like they're getting a bargain for that item. So just because your item isn't in mint condition doesn't mean that someone won't buy it. And finally, tip number 10 is to keep an eye on your profit margin. If you're going to be shipping the item, you also need to keep an eye on your shipping costs, because shipping costs can eat up your profits really quickly. I'm gonna link my favorite shipping products down in the description below. A lot of times, if you use envelope mailers for small items of clothing or toys or accessories, those can ship first class, and it's gonna get you the most money because you're paying the least amount for shipping, and people also get it very fast. There's 10 great places that you can get totally free shipping supplies. I'll link it down below. You also might consider opening a store, because some of these websites, if you open a store, they give incentives as far as discounts on shipping, discounts on final selling fees. So you have to look at each individual website and see if it makes sense for you to open a store. And if you're going to be selling a lot of clutter, sometimes it's good. Feel free to comment with any questions that you have about what I went over, and maybe I could even make more videos if I get the same question a lot. If you liked what you heard, you're interested to know more, or if you want to know more about how to live a minimalist lifestyle with less stuff, more money, and a happier family, go down and hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. So there you have it, as my top 10 tips for making money selling your clutter online. Happy decluttering and selling!